kids, looks like we finally made it to the end. Your school is about up. I'm very excited that you're able to enjoy summer vacation. I hope you have a lot of fun. I also hope school comes back up in the fall. Anyway, as our final and last project, I thought we'd do something a little bit fun, a little bit summery. So we're going to go camping. If you haven't gone camping, you should. It's a blast. And it's probably the only thing we can do right now. So we are going to make ourselves a camping scene. I hope you have fun. And more importantly, I hope you have a blast this summer vacation. It has been kind of fun doing these videos. So here we go. Okay, let's get started. I have my general 8.5 by 11, and we are going to go in landscape mode. So it's going to be longer this way and not tall. All right. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to begin with a curved line. And we're going to just have it doesn't have to be perfectly straight or curved or anything. This is kind of a Bob Ross moment where let it just go. It's been kind of interesting doing kind of Bob Ross type videos. I feel like I should talk about happy little trees. Anyway, so do a curved line. I've got a little dip in mine, which is great. At the bottom here, we are going to curve it back this way. And again, it doesn't have to be perfectly curved or perfectly straight. If it wiggles a little bit, that's great because that's what happens in nature. We also, since we have this nice curved line, we're going to make a shoreline because we're right next to a little lake, our little camp is. So our shoreline, we're going to do some jagged little lines. We're going to follow this curved line down here. And we're going to put in a grass line. Because if you've ever noticed that grass occasionally grows right down to the water, but in this case, we're having it pull up a little bit. Maybe it flooded. We don't know. It's just happy grass. Okay. Up here, we are going to begin building our tent. Now, our tent, we need to start off with 3 lines. We're going to do one here, one about here, and space them out about this far, and then do another one back here, but we're going to not have it come down quite as low. It's going to go up a little higher. And for anyone, and for those who have done some perspective drawings, this is what we're going to tap into. Our tent is going to be tall, so from this corner, we're going to do a curved line up. So we're about halfway between these 2 lines, and we're going to curve it back down till we touch this line. And if it's not perfect, it's all good. We're also going to do a curved line from here up to here, but we want to keep it the same distance. So we're going to curve it a little bit, have it touch that line, and then we're going to connect our 2 tops. Excellent, well done. Now we have our basics of our tent. What we do from this point is we're going to come in and we're going to start erasing these lines because we don't need them anymore. And again, remember, draw lightly. It makes erasing a ton easier. And I'm drawing especially dark just so that my video can pick up. And the sun came out, unfortunately, which is messing up the lighting in my studio. Shocker! So let's see if we can tip that down a little bit. All right. So with our tent, we need to have a door that opens up. Now tent doors are just big flaps. So we're going to start from up here. We're going to do a straight line down. And we're going to connect these right here. Now our next door, maybe it blew open a little bit, or maybe someone just got up. So it's going to wave over a little bit. And then we'll come down here and we'll connect it to that side. And while we're over here, we might as well connect these 2 lines over here. And remember how we did these straight lines at the start? We can connect them right there as well. Okay, now since this door flipped open a little bit, we're going to do a little curved line here at the bottom. I'm going to do a straight line right here to show that maybe it just flipped just a little bit. Kind of the illusion of depth. So now it looks like it was flipped open. On this side, we are going to do a window. So we're going to do another straight line, and we're going to follow this line right here. See how it's at an angle? We're going to follow it so that it is parallel to it. And then we're going to do another line down here. Now, we are going to pretend that someone unzipped it from this corner, so it was unzipped. And as we do that, we're going to pretend that it bent over right here. So put a line right there, but we want it to stop underneath here because it bent over. Folding cloth is kind of interesting in art. You kind of have to work with it, so if it doesn't quite look the way you want, you can certainly erase it and fix it. Now, tents are put in with stakes. So we want to make sure we give ourselves a line to hold it up and a stake. And our stake is just a little triangle. So we're going to do one there, and we're going to do one here, and we're going to have another guideline over here, and a triangle stake to hold it in. Excellent. All right, now what is camping without a fire? So we should decide where to put our fire. We can put our fire over here or maybe over here. Let's put it right here. So let's build our fire. We're going to do a curved line down here, and then we're going to do a little wave up towards the top. And then we can do another little curved line, and we're going to follow it back down. And maybe there's another little fire right there, and maybe there's one behind here. And maybe this one shot up a little bit of fire up into the air. Fires like to shoot up sometimes, and so we can include that in our fire. Maybe I want another flame right there. So once you get your flames in, then we are going to surround it by rocks. It's always important to be safe. Don't want to start a forest fire. Also, don't ever put your campfire this close to your tent, or you might have problems. But since it's a drawing, we can do what we want. So we're going to do a curved rock, and we're going to make a fire circle. So we're going to do these curved rocks around in a circle around our campfire. And to make it look like they're not just circles, we're going to add a little bit of a darkened line at the bottom of them, give them more of a 3D look. And we'll do it under all of them. And that one's hiding behind our campfire, so we don't need to worry about it. Okay, now we have a cute little crackling fire. Now we need to do a few more details. Maybe perhaps behind our tent here are some bushes. And you can do bushes any way you like. Bushes tend to be random. And so I always make mine random. If you want to make yours a little bit more symmetrical and just bushy and just like lines like this, that's fine. I tend to just make mine into random shapes because that's how my bushes look in my world. They tend to be a little bit more random. If you come down a little bit into our line that we did initially, we can make sure that we go back and erase where we cross that line, because it will make it look like that bush is in front of the edge of our little island that we have going on here. Oh, and I didn't erase that one over there. Okay, so now we have some cute bushes around our fire pit and our campsite. So now we need to finish with the rest of our scene. All right, and I mentioned at the start that we are at a lake. So we need to make our lake, because right now it looks like we're just kind of floating over here. So the first thing we're going to do is back here, we're going to do a straight line, or at least as straight as you can get it. Because again, in nature, nothing is ever perfectly straight. And we're going to do another line right next to it. If you have some gaps, that's great. Matter of fact, it would probably be better. Now, in our background, our 5th and 4th graders have done something similar to this. We are going to do 2 hills. We're going to start up here, and we'll curve down, and then we will have it go back up on this other side. But remember, we don't want to draw in front of our tent because our tent is in the front. If we drew a line straight through, then it wouldn't look like our tent is in front. It would make the hill look like it was in front of our tent. Okay, now, maybe it is, I haven't decided if it's sunrise or sunset, but it's about that time. So maybe we're either making breakfast at our fire, or we are just getting ready to sit down for making some s'mores. So we're going to make our sun here in the background. It's just going to be a nice big half circle right there on the horizon line. Now, I haven't decided what I was going to do here. I decided that I was going to do some rays. Make it look like the sun is shining out. You don't have to do this, but I decided that maybe this is something I was going to do for this picture. And maybe I'll stop that one there because I think I'm going to put a cloud over there and then have the rays go all the way to the edge. And I think I'm going to do a cloud down here too. So maybe I'll start it a little further up. All right. So for our clouds you can do any way you like. I happen to like big fluffy clouds. because they're friendly. They look like they float there, and it means it's not going to pour on me while I'm camping. Very few things are as bad as getting wet while camping. Although it does make for some good times playing card games in your tent or camper if you go camping in a camper. Okay, so there is my friendly little cloud over in that corner. And maybe I'll make another one over here. Maybe I'll even have it cover a part of our sun a little bit. But this cloud, I think, is going to hide behind our horizon, our backdrop here. So it's going to disappear a little bit. Maybe I want it to come up a little bit more. Okay, and if I cross the sun or any of my rays, I can erase them because that's what erasers are made for. There we go. We have a cute little cloud on this side and a cute cloud on this side for our beautiful, we'll call it sunset. All right. One thing we need to do is we need to put in some ripples in our water. So remember how we have kind of this line here? The water is going to behave very similarly over here. So we're going to give a little bit of a space along here. And then we can start adding in some ripples. Now our ripples are going to go side to side. They sometimes go up and down, but for the most part, ripples tend to go side to side. The wind blows them. And you don't have to do a lot, just some curved lines that go across and make little eddies. Maybe fish are in there and they're swimming. Okay, and then we'll do a couple more up here as it disappears off into the lake. I apologize for the light changing. Outside we have a storm and some clouds that are coming in and out, so it's affecting the lighting. You can even have some of those ripples go off the edge of your page, which is great. Okay, now one thing we need to do is we need to add some pine trees because I like camping up in the forest. So up in this corner, we're going to make some pine trees, and these are the way I can do it. You can do it other ways. Actually, most of the time I don't do pine trees this way, but I think it might be easier. So we're going to start down. We'll have a little V at the top, an upside down V, and then we're just going to go back and forth with the jagged line all the way down. Now, as you go down, remember, pine trees get bigger as you go down. So they're going to start spreading out a little bit. At least that's the goal. They also are not the same height. So maybe right here, I will do a little shorter tree. And I'll just zig down all the way down. And if they touch, it's okay. Matter of fact, pine trees often touch. And maybe I'll do a little one right over here, or I could do a big one. Let's do one that goes off the page. And we'll have it come over here. And it is going to go well off the page, which is okay, because then I just color off the page. All right. And I'm thinking I might need a couple more over here. Maybe I want a really tall one right here. So yeah, just put your trees wherever you feel that there should be one. It's your forest, it's your little camp trip, so they can be wherever you want. And if you want a lot of trees, you can do a lot of trees. If you want just a few trees, do a few. Maybe I'll do one down here right in front of the sun. Seems like a good spot for a tree to grow. They like sunshine. So I'll bring it down and put it in front of my sun, and then I can just go back in and erase where it has crossed my sun. And I've cut off that corner of my sun. So see, there we go. We have a cute little tree sitting there on one side and a cloud on the other. And I'll put in a couple more trees here. And if you need to pause so you can get your trees in, that's totally fine. And maybe I'll put a couple trees over here. And this tree is a little concerning. He looks a little funny, but that's okay. Not all trees look the same, and some of them actually do kind of look a little funny. But as Bob Ross said, Happy little trees, happy little mistakes. It's okay. And let's see, I think I want to do one more over here. But it's going to get covered up by the tent. So if you run into your tent, make sure that your tree doesn't go in front of it because your tent is in front of the trees. So you notice how I didn't finish this side. Okay. And that's our basic drawing. If you want to include the shadow, especially for the older kids, they will notice that your sun point is over here, so your shadow is going to go this way. The shadows always go away from the light, and so your shadows would go this direction. So when you color, you can make this section right here a little bit darker than right over here where the sun would be. You can include some other shadows if you like. You can include shadows for the trees, or for some of the rocks, or for even some of the grass will cast a little bit of a shadow down here. And if you want to add some grass to our hill, you certainly can. And if you want to add an animal, go right ahead. I thought when I was drawing this out that a cute moose over here would be great, or a deer or something. So make it your picture. It is your camping trip, and I hope you had fun. You can outline the entire thing. Probably the only thing I wouldn't outline is probably the sun, but that's because I tend to like to have it very bright, and the clouds because they're going to be white. So I hope you had fun, and I hope you have a wonderful summer, and we will hopefully be back in school next year. See you later. Bye.
After a long day of camping, it's nice to unwind with a nice, relaxing campfire song. I call this one the Campfire Song. Let's gather around the campfire and sing our campfire song. Our CAMPFIRESONG song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong. But it'll help if you just sing along.
Bum, bum.
CAMPFIRESONG song. CAMPFIRESONG song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong. But it'll help if you just sing along. CAMPFIRESONG song. Patrick!
Son! CAMPFIRESONG!
Squidward! Good!